Luke and Logan's senior project. We will be visiting veterans at the Vancouver, Washington VA Medical Center. Facts about the VA. There are 18.2 million veterans in the United States, according to the most recent statistics from the U.S. Census. More than 9 million veterans are served each year by the Department of Veteran Affairs. Healthcare facilities are made up of 1,074 outpatient sites and 170 VA medical centers. President Donald Trump requested an appropriation of $220.2 billion for the 2020 budget, a 9.6% increase over 2019, which is very significant.
History of the VA. The VA can be traced back to 1636, when the Pilgrims of Plymouth Colony were at war with the Pequot Indians. The Pilgrims passed a law that stated that disabled soldiers would be supported by the colony. In 1833, Congress established the Bureau of Pensions to assist veterans. This program was expanded to include benefits and pensions not only for veterans, but for their widows and dependents. In 1917, Congress established a new system of veterans benefits, including programs for disability compensation, insurance for service personnel and veterans, and vocational rehabilitation for the disabled. In 1944, the GI Bill was created to help veterans of World War II. It established hospitals, made low-interest mortgages available, and granted stipends covering tuition and expenses for veterans attending college or trade schools. From 1944 to 1949, nearly 9 million veterans received close to $4 billion from the bill's unemployment and compensation program.
In 1973, the VA took over the National Cemetery Association, except for the Arlington National Cemetery in Texas.
In 1984, the president signs a bill requiring the VA to pay benefits to Vietnam veterans suffering from illnesses possibly caused by Agent Orange exposure.
Logan and I both have personal connections to the VA. We both have grandparents that have served in the military. We both recognize the effect that war and active combat has on veterans. My grandpa Herb, for example, served in the Vietnam War as a medic. What is the societal impact of this topic? Our project will be helping veterans in society by providing emotional support. We are also hoping it will inspire other people in our community to realize how veterans are affected by combat and how the VA can benefit them. What are we hoping to do in the community? We are hoping to provide therapeutic services to veterans through my grandpa's therapy dog, Jesse, and make an impact on their lives. How are we going to get there? As we mentioned before, my grandpa Herb has been volunteering at the VA for many years. He also has a therapy dog named Jesse. We will be talking more with him in the VA to make this happen. Herb is our main resource for our project.
Did you serve in?
It's Herb, and I was in the Navy. I was trained as a corpsman, which is the field medics for the Marines. And then I went to another school and became an operating room technician. So I worked in the operating room, and this was during the Vietnam War. So we got the patients as soon as they were taken off the battlefield and stabilized, and they came to us, and we took care of them then. So This is Jessie. She's a registered therapy dog, and she comes here and visits patients. We visit patients in rehab wards. We visit patients in hospice, and she also goes to Portland to the locked psychiatric unit and visits patients over there. And the nice thing about her is that she's a small dog, so she's actually allowed up on the beds with the patients. So she can get in bed with the hospice patient and curl right up with them. Jessie's my second therapy dog. I've been bringing dogs here for 13 years to the VA, and we have over 2,500 hours worth of visits with veterans here at the VA. Because of the coronavirus that is being around right now, Jessie's visits to the VA have been curtailed, and right now actually no visitors are permitted in the VA, so that's why we can't go in the building. My previous dog, her name was Mescla. I visited a patient, and 3 years later they saw us in the lobby and they asked if I was the person who brought her around, because they remembered her and her name, but they didn't remember me. And that shows you what kind of effect the dogs have on the patients. During my military, I went to basic training in Great Lakes, Illinois, the 1st of January in the blizzards. So I was guarding dumpsters in boot camp in snowstorms in the middle of the night. Then I went to hospital corps school at Great Lakes, where I learned to be a field medic. And then I was transferred to Bethesda Naval Hospital near Washington, D.C., where I got my training as an operating room technician. And I was trained to assist in all kinds of surgery, from open heart to brain surgery to minor surgeries to hip replacements, just about every different kind of surgery. Then I was sent to the Naval Hospital at Yokosuka, Japan, where I spent 2 years and 2 months receiving the evacuees from Vietnam and trying to, we say, put them back together. Many of the evacuees had limbs that we couldn't save, and did a lot of amputations, a lot of orthopedic surgery, a lot of broken bones. So that was mainly the type of surgery. It's all trauma surgery. Very few elective surgeries. The VA here in Portland has been fantastic for me. I get all my health care through the VA. Almost 2 years ago now, I was diagnosed with lymphoma, and I went through 7 months of chemotherapy, and since a year ago July, I've been cancer-free, so they did a great job for me. Patients that are here who are, some of them long-term care, and they have dogs at home, and they can't get to see their dogs, and when they see Jessie, they start crying. So it's pretty sad sometimes. Yeah, I wanted to tell people to be aware. All veterans can get some assistance from the VA one way or another. They limit it in some cases to veterans who have service-connected disabilities or veterans who have limited income, but it's worth a try to see if you're eligible for VA health care, because here in the Portland, Vancouver area, the health care is fantastic. This is one of the top-rated healthcare systems for the VA in the whole country. In order to be a therapy dog, there's quite a bit involved in the testing. It takes about 45 minutes to go through the test to make sure that they're qualified to be a therapy dog. And they retest them every 2 years to make sure that their abilities have not changed and their attitude and temperament hasn't changed. So when we get people with new therapy dogs coming here, if they don't have a connection somehow with military, it's very difficult to retain them. So I tell them what questions to ask vets. The first question you ask is, what branch of the military were you in? The next question is, what did you do in the military? And then you can pretty much quit talking, because they're going to usually just keep on talking, tell you what all they did. Yesterday when we were walking Jesse in our neighborhood, some guy rode by on his bicycle and hollered, "There's that Jesse dog." I'm not sure who he was, but I know that he's known her from the VA. So she's pretty popular.